prove to anyone that you have evidences to tell a story about Eritrea shipping arms to anywhere in the region?
You have a relationship with both Iran, though you say there's no Iranian presence, as well as Israel. How do you balance?
How can you
so do you say you have no relationship with Iran?
Not at all. Do you think? How can you possibly logically understand this contradictory?
That's why I'm asking you.
Why would you ask? Why would you ask without evidences? It's a surprise to me. It's even a joke to me. I don't really see any logic of bringing Israel and Iran together working in Eritrea. How can possibly one sensible person understand that logic?
But that's probably raised the questions. Many political analysts believe that the next proxy war between Iran and Israel is going to take place on your soil. Are you prepared to be turned into the next Vietnam?
This is a joke. This is giving Eritrea beyond its means. These are fabrications. These are allegations without any facts to prove them on the ground. And it's sometimes a surprise why people want to sell these lies to any sensible person in the region. It doesn't make sense.
It's also quite, it's well documented that you are helping Iran through your Asab port send arms to Yemen to support the Houthi fighters who are fighting the government as well as Saudi Arabia. Can you explain your actions?
It's senseless. It's senseless. Who would want to destabilize Yemen? We have all along, the last 20 years, supported the government of Ali Abdullah Saleh genuinely.
So do you deny then that you are supporting the Houthis in Yemen?
This is a fantasy in the minds of those who want to sell this idea and create a sense of threat and fear in this region so that they can manipulate it for their own agendas. There is no refinery in the first place in Assad. There is no presence for anyone. You want to go yesterday or tomorrow, you can go and see who is there and who is not there. And to assume that your allegations are facts and try to find an explanation for that assumption, I say it's crazy. It's all fabrications. We sometimes bother and wonder why all these fabrications about things that do not exist on the ground.
Is this also a fabrication? The United Nations said that you spend $200,000 to $500,000 a month supporting fighters.
Where?
In Somalia and around the region. Is that also a fabrication?
This is another joke. This is another joke.
I mean, how can your country That's from the United Nations.
It's boring. It's boring. When jokes are repeated again and again, it becomes so boring.
How do you as a country continue to afford to be on this war footing now, 20 years?
This is a fantasy. This is a fantasy on those who think we are on a war footing. It's crazy. It's an imagination of people who can only be categorized as insane, who will fantasize on things that do not exist in real terms.
If your country is not on war footing, how come there's so much repression? There's no freedom of the press, there's no freedom of speech.
I can understand where you come from. And this is again another boring joke based on fabrications.
Can anybody leave the country when they want to?
Did you enjoy the show yesterday?
Can anybody leave the country when they want to?
Did you enjoy the show yesterday?
Can anybody leave the country when they want to?
In the streets? Anybody can leave this country anytime.
If they can get a passport?
What is it to get a passport from a country you deserve to be a citizen for?
What about freedom of the press, freedom of the speech? Eritrea jails more journalists than any other country in the world. Why do you have to resort to
These are lies.
You don't jail journalists.
These are lies. These are lies of Jazeera International, deliberately distorting facts to give the impression that this country is in a war footing and so many things. Iran is here, Israel is here, we are supporting Houthis, we are supporting terrorists. You name it. You are using these lies to serve an agenda for destabilizing this region.
I would never do anything to
But
attempt
you're
to
telling me
destabilize
lies,
the region.
you're
I'm
telling me
trying to
lies
get to the
and
bottom of
lies
the
and
truth.
lies and lies and lies and lies without providing any evidences and trying to blame it on the United Nations sometimes when the United Nations has not said anything, blame it on the government of Sudan when Sudan has not said anything.
Okay, let's talk about the people who live in this country. If I can just quote these to you, the United Nations stats estimate that almost 63,000 Eritreans applied for asylum last year alone, and that 1,800 cross over every month into Sudan. Why are they leaving the country?
These are lies. These are your lies.
So people are not leaving the country?
That's
another United Nations estimate.
Give us the evidences. We would like to see evidences. According to those reports, the population of this country is out of town by yesterday, according to those statistics.
They're fleeing from the country. Of course, the most high-profile one, you've had the football team, which disappeared in Kenya. They're seeking asylum. Those athletes in Scotland, they're also seeking asylum. So
this is news to me. It's news to
me.
Really? I've never heard anything like that, and I'm not bothered if people go there, if they ask for asylum here or there, if they're looking for jobs in the United States, in Europe. Why would I bother about that?
One of the reasons that many of the people leave is because of the indefinite military service for both men and for women, and for the very harsh conditions, and the fact that you can never leave. Why is there this?
This is another lie. Again, another lie. It's compromising your credibility as a media outlet and coming up with a pack of lies and trying to prove to them, to anyone, by putting them as facts on the ground and trying to give the impression that these are things that exist in the real world. Israel is here. Who is not here? Everybody
Israel is here. They've got a military base.
Everybody is here. Iran is here. I mean, how can you possibly imagine people to trust and believe what you tell them when you're talking about lies that do not exist in...
Every single question I've put to you is backed up with a lot of research and a lot of facts. So with respect, Mr. President, I'm just trying to find out how your country operates, because I find it a fascinating country. So please, as a journalist...
It's a good exercise for a journalist to ask questions about a number of things, but to come up with a pack of lies, a pack of fabrications, and try to prove them by putting them as very